Stephanie Clifford, who performs naked in online videos under the name Stormy Daniels, went on CBS's 60 Minutes over the weekend. The ratings were huge. They spiked 111% during the interview. That, of course, was the whole point of the exercise. Clifford alleges that 12 years ago she had a one-day affair with Donald Trump. The White House denies this, though only half-heartedly. Cable news has been talking pretty much about nothing since, other than Stormy Daniels. So what do you make of this? Well, even if you assume the story is basically true, and you might, you still have to wonder why it matters. If you're a Trump supporter, you're probably not so surprised. You knew exactly who Donald Trump was when you voted for him. But you did it anyway because you understood the only options were people who hated you. If you're a committed Trump opponent, and pretty much everyone in the press is Stormy Daniels really the best you can do? If you're looking for a new reason to be mad at the president, I don't know, how about the budget deal he signed on Friday? That bill will cost more than $1 trillion, but does nothing to protect the country from the foreign invasion that's changing it at an unprecedented rate. Of course, the press all but ignored that, and many more stories like it. Why? Because reporters could care less about voters or how the country they grew up in is vanishing. How about the 60,000 American OD deaths last year, or the shrinking middle class, or people dying younger? None of that is interesting to them. Nobody in Brooklyn cares at all. So instead, TV networks are devoting their entire schedules to convincing us that Donald Trump is naughty. Because apparently Americans had no idea that Donald Trump had an outlandish personal life. It's not like he bragged about it in detail on Howard Stern a dozen times or anything, or got caught uttering vulgarities on the Access Hollywood tape. The rest of us are stunned. In related news, by the way, Chris Christie was cited yesterday eating a Snickers bar. Well, now that it's clear Trump is flawed, the media insists that America has an obligation to be shocked and disgusted. Because if there's one thing reporters do well, it's setting a high moral tone for the rest of us. And that's why people are so anxious to take important life advice from TV anchors. That's why parents dream about allowing anyone in CNN's primetime lineup to babysit their kids. Come on. What's actually more shocking and disgusting? Is it Trump's personal life, weird as it may be? Or is it the mindlessness, the hypocrisy, the dishonesty of your average TV anchor? Which of these hurts America more? It's not a close call, by the way. Mark Stein is an author and columnist who, until last night, had never even heard of Stormy Daniels. He's here to tell you. He joins us now. I'm sure you've watched breathlessly every moment of this unfolding saga. What's your view of it?
Well, I do think that if one is in the media, I think you should be. I'm an old Fleet Street hand, and we certainly knew something about sex scandals in the UK. 3 in a bed, autoerotic asphyxiation. I've been there, I've done that, I know all about it. And so when this thing started, and Tucker, you may have seen Anderson Cooper asking rather explicitly about the mechanics of the act, and I was thinking, oh, this is an actual sex scandal. I'll go and make myself a nice cup of tea and come back and settle down with it. I came back and there's some pasty bloke called Trevor, which isn't even an American name. I don't know what kind of self-respecting red-blooded American is called Trevor, but he used to be with the Federal Election Commission, and he's saying that Trump's lawyer may have committed a campaign election crime by giving Stormy Daniels $130,000. I'm thinking, my God, is there anything in this country that can't be turned into a federal regulatory infraction? I was just settling down for a nice sex scandal, and apparently it's a campaign finance infraction after all. And just to tie it all into that spending bill, as you mentioned a moment ago, you know, Trump paid off, if it's true, Trump paid off a porn star for 130 grand. That's the art of the deal. I would have liked to have seen that Trump with McConnell and Paul Ryan last Friday.
I totally agree. I completely agree with that. How does it make you feel to know when you watch CNN that the people in the anchor chairs are just a lot better people than you are? I mean, they're going to go to heaven. They'll intercede on your behalf. You'll probably get turned down. They're going to do their best, okay? Because their salvation is a certainty because of their deep decency and rectitude. How do you feel when they send that message to you?
Yeah, I think there is actually something faintly creepy about the moral preening of these people.
You think?
And in fact, if I were, I mean, just to be serious for a moment, I don't know a lot of porn stars. I think the last one I knew was from 1973, so she must be about 89 by now. But I don't know Stormy Daniels. She seems a perfectly pleasant person. I'll make a bet. She's a useful vessel to CNN and the others, and in 2 years' time, she's going to be broke and wondering what happened to all the fancy media interest and the smarmy lawyer. You know, it's Stormy and Smarmy, the particularly reptilian, oleaginous lawyers into whose hands she's fallen. The public interest in this is that John Edwards, who also is smarmy and oleaginous, when he was running for president, got into this mess. The Department of Justice's argument then was that John Edwards' family image was part of his political image, so therefore his family man image was regulated by federal campaign finance laws. As you said, Trump's the opposite. He's Howard Stern. He's showgirls. He's got more ex-wives than the previous 44 presidents combined and doubled. And so he does not have a family man image that falls within federal regulation. This thing's going nowhere. It's a dud. It's a bust. And Anderson Cooper may be turned on by it, but nobody else is.
It would be interesting to know if the press understands why Trump got elected. I bet there's not a single person who voted for Trump on the basis of his personal life. Just a guess. Mark,
absolutely.
Great to see you.
Thanks a lot, Tucker.
Thank you.